Hey preschoolers, seeing Ivy eat all those blueberries made me think about our friend Bear and how we have a couple more Bear books to read together. And his love of blueberries is seen in this one, Bear's Loose Tooth. See if you can remember when the blueberries show up in the story. From a cave in the forest came a munch, munch, crunch, as Bear and his friends all nibbled on their lunch. Bear savored every bite, he gulped and he gobbled, then there in his mouth something wiggled, and it wobbled. As Bear nibbled food, something moved when he chewed. It was Bear's loose tooth. Bear pointed in his mouth and he said, "Oh dear, my tooth feels funny. It's the one right here." Bear frowned and he worried, tears welled in his eyes. "But how will I eat if my tooth says goodbye?" Hare says, "Open wide." Then he looked inside and saw Bear's loose tooth. Mouse squeaked, "Don't fret, don't fuss, look, see. A new tooth will grow where the old used to be." "We'll help," said Wren. "I know what to do. It's out with the old and in with the new." Wren perched on Bear's lip and he got a good grip on Bear's loose tooth. Wren pulled on the tooth with all of his might. "Is it out?" asked Bear, but it stayed stuck tight. "I'm a bit too small for the job," said Wren, "so I'll grab the tooth." But the tooth stayed in. Badger said, "I'll try," and he gave a big pry on Bear's loose tooth. It looks like Hare and Raven are also trying to help him. They all took a turn, but the tooth wouldn't budge. Then Bear used his tongue and he gave it a little nudge. His tooth wiggled to and fro. Then what do you know? Bear's tooth fell out. Bear danced a big dance, Bear grinned a big grin. Bear held up his tooth and he showed all his friends. Bear looked in the mirror and he laughed at his smile. A new tooth would come, but it might take a while. Maybe some of you have brothers and sisters whose teeth have fallen out and they still have holes in their mouths where they're waiting for their new teeth to come in. That night in bed, right next to his head, lay Bear's loose tooth. All his friends are leaving the cave. While he slept and he snored, a fairy fluttered in, and she left blueberries where Bear's tooth had been. He woke in the morning and found the sweet treat. Bear's friends came for breakfast. They sat down to eat. Bear gulped and he gobbled and he saw something wobble. Uh-oh! Bear's loose tooth. Look at his face. Seems like he's got another loose tooth and his friends are all having a good laugh over that. Well, it looked like Ivy was getting the table all set for a feast. And maybe some of you guys have been helping your moms and dads get the table set for dinner, or put the dishes away, or set out food, or maybe you've even been helping do some cooking at your house. And in this story, Bear says thanks. Bear and his friends have a big feast together. All alone in his cave, Bear listens to the wind. He is bored, 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 and he misses his friends. I know some of us know how Bear is feeling right now as we're missing our friends. I could make a big dinner, a feast I could share. But he looks through his cupboard, and the cupboard is bare. This is another bear word. There's bear, which means a big brown furry animal, right? But bear can also mean empty. His cupboard is bare. There's nothing there. Then Mouse stops by with a huckleberry pie, and the bear says, thanks. Bear says, goodness me, a delectable pie. But I have made nothing, he adds with a sigh. Then they hear, hi-ho! And they both see Hare with a big batch of muffins at the door of the lair. Hare hurries in from the cold rushing wind, and the bear says, thanks. Of course, says Hare. Then he points to the door. Here comes Badger. He's got even more. What's Badger bringing? It looks like some fish. Brr, says Badger as he tromps inside. He sets down his pole and he smiles real wide. I'm back from a stroll at the old fishing hole. Whew! And the bear says, thanks. Then Gopher and Mole tunnel up from the ground. We have warm honey nuts. Let's pass them around. There's a flap and a flitter and a flurry in the den, when in flutters Owl with Raven and Wren. We have pears from the tree and herbs to brew tea. And the bear says, wait. Bear mutters and he stutters and he wears a big frown. Oh, Bear sighs and he moans and he plops himself down. You have brought yummy treats. You are so nice to share, but me, I have nothing. My cupboards are bare. Mouse squeaks, don't fret. There's enough, dear bear. You don't need any food. You have stories to share. His friends hug him tight. It'll be all right. And the bear says, thanks. They lay out their feast on a quilt on the ground, and the bear takes a seat while his friends gather round. In a cave in the woods, in a warm, bright lair, the friends feel grateful for their good friend Bear. They pass around platters, they tweet and they chatter, and they all say thanks. And we have one more to read today, and it is Bear stays up for Christmas, and he gets a special present. Maybe we can check in with Ivy to see what type of present he gets, if you guys can remember what it was. Ivy?
Oh, cozy quilt.
Are you cozy?
Yes.
Ooh, I saw Ivy was all snuggled in her quilt, which makes me think of the special gift that Bear gets for Christmas. And we'll enjoy this book even though it's not Christmas time right now. It is one of the great Bear books. The day before Christmas, snuggled on his floor, Bear sleeps soundly with a great big snore. Dear Bear, get up! Mouse shouts in his ear. We won't let you sleep through Christmas this year. His friends are all there, gathered in his lair, and the bear wakes up. He stands with a stretch and a great big sigh. I hope I can make it. I do want to try. Don't worry, squeaks Mouse. Hare says, it's all right. We'll keep you busy all day and all night. He tries to lie down, but his friends all frown, so the bear stays up. Remember, bears hibernate during the winter. They sleep for a long time. So now that it's getting cold out, Bear is ready for his long sleep. Come on, says Badger, time to follow me. In Pine Grove Glen, there's a fine Christmas tree. So they stomp through the woods and they tromp down the track. They hoist up the tree onto Bear's big back. He plods very slow as they trudge through the snow, but the bear stays up. Back at the cave, Gopher brews mint tea, and Mole pops corn to string upon the tree. Raven and Wren bake a fresh fruit cake. The friends do their best to keep Bear awake. His shoulders start to stoop and his eyelids droop, but the bear stays up. They hang up their stockings by warm firelight and hum Christmas songs like "Oh Holy Night." They cuddle and sing as they wait for the sun. But soon all the voices fade to just one. A bright star glows while his good friends doze, but the bear stays up. Bear giggles and he grins, he works and he raps, he bustles and bakes while everyone naps. He piles up presents under the tree, but who's at the doorway? Bear doesn't see. He toils all night. That means he's working hard all night until the sun rises, making his friends their Christmas surprises. Just before dawn, he lets out a yawn, but he still stays up. When Christmas arrives, so lovely and white. Why is Christmas white? Maybe there's snow on the ground outside. It's all white where all the snow is falling. Bear's friends awake to a glorious sight. Presents and goodies are piled up tall. I stayed up, says Bear, just to share with you all. All his friends shout with glee, and Bear lies by the tree, but he still stays up. Wren flies to the stockings and tweets out a cheer. Besides our bear's presents, Santa was here. When all gifts are open, there's one last surprise. Badger shows Bear a quilt, just his size. Bear snuggles up tight and mutters, "Good night." Then Bear falls asleep. His friends tidy up and slip from the lair. They whisper, "Sweet dreams. Merry Christmas, dear Bear." And Karma Wilson, the writer of this book, she wrote this book before some of the other ones. We read them in a different order. And if you see, after he got this quilt for Christmas, we see it in some of our other books. Like when Bear feels sick, he's all cuddled in his quilt. And when Bear can't sleep, he has his quilt. So if you go back and watch some of the other videos, you can look for which ones Bear has his quilt in. There is a word in this book I realized that we could sound out together, and that word is up. Bear stays up, right? Even though he's so tired and ready to go to bed, he stays up. I'm gonna need one of our vowel men to start up. Let me see if I can find it. Got all my letter cards here. Do you guys remember what letter says Sometimes it helps me when I put my arms like this, like I want to be lifted up. And my arms make a U. Uppy umbrella. Up. And our letters at P, P. You can feel our breath on our hand when we make the sound of P. Peter Puppy, right? P. When we put those together, up, up. And we can see that on the cover of our book. Bear stays up for Christmas.